everybody, welcome back here once again. So, I'm going to go through my review for Doctor Strange and the confusing satanic madness of the multiverse. I think that's the really only way to really break down this. Now, let me start off by saying this is a really visually stunning movie. As usual, Marvel hits it out of the park. They have the scenes that they have, especially when traveling through the multiverse, all the different colors and all sort of stuff are really good. Sometimes it is kind of overwhelming. They shove a lot into this. You do always get a opportunity to really enjoy. I think you might have to watch it more than once to really appreciate it, but it is really good to see. It really is visually beautiful. This is something that Marvel always has done a lot better than DC. They don't skimp on that CGI budget, so you get a lot of this expansive world building stuff with them. So it really is visually stunning. Okay, now let me talk about America Chavez for a moment, right? I will start off by saying she was not as annoying as I initially thought she might have been. I thought maybe they may have tried to push this angle with her, but they didn't. She was not as annoying as I thought she would be, but apart from that, there's not much I could say that I actually know about. I mean, okay, I know who the character is. I know who America Chavez is, but just going on that movie alone, you really don't get any idea of her strengths, weaknesses, anything really about her. All you really know is that she runs around a lot, looking kind of scared most of the time, and seems to be just there because her powers allow her to travel between dimensions and punch star-shaped dimension holes in things and whatnot. Then there was that whole scene. I guess people were talking about with when she had she saw a vision of her past, and she has two moms, and I mean, because again, as I say, I know who I know about America Chavez, but honestly, the character was just so kind of there and not really pronounced that it really didn't seem to matter. Again, Marvel keeps trying to put in these characters that have been around for less than a decade, if even a decade so far, and make it seem that they're really important, but really isn't. So, it's that she does what she does, and okay, no problem. Now, here's the thing. Um, let's talk about the actual. Again, as I say, you get some of the good visuals. You see Doctor Strange fighting off this tentacled-looking monster thing that's with a one big eyeball that is going after Miss Chavez and all of that. But here's the thing: the Marvel series WandaVision. Not only did it kind of start off first one or two episodes was good, and then it kind of descended into absolute crap at the end. It seems to have permanently damaged, or should I say permanently driven, Wanda Maximoff insane. Because she literally is the villain of this story. But it has some confusing parts I'll have to get into, but here's the thing about it. Now, America Chavez has the ability to travel between dimensions, although she can't control it, and nothing. Wanda is sending things from other dimensions after her, so she could capture her and get her powers. How she's able to do this, they never say, because she never develops any ability to travel or project anything across dimensions until later on in the movie, but it never says so, okay. The reason she's doing this, though, is because in WandaVision, she had enslaved an entire tongue, right? Psychically enslaved an entire tongue, made some imaginary children, and because apparently in this movie, people who have, magical abilities, whatever, when they dream, it's doorways into other dimensions or something, or she's seeing her children in another dimension and wants to get America's power to go to this dimension, kill the other Wanda that's there, and take her place raising her children. Oh, and you might be thinking, okay, well, maybe she could just ask America Chavez to help her get to this dimension so she could be there with the children or whatever. No. She wants to suck the power out of this child, killing her, for the sole purpose that if the children whose mother she's going to murder and take the place of that other one, if the children ever get sick, she could just go to a different dimension but what will have a cure so that the children will always be healthy. Which makes no sense because there will be different physics and different laws, different things in every dimension. So whatever cure you get there may not work on your children, but all right. Now, all of this could really have been avoided if she just done three simple things. Three simple solutions that could have been done to avoid all of this. One, you could have adopted children. That's an option. There are lots of children out there who need that option. You could have adopted children. Two, you could have gone for in vitro fertilization, but that brings up another point I'll get to just now. Or three, you could have just gone on a dating site and you'll probably have men lining up around the corner to meet you, but no, you want to break dimensional laws. Which brings me back to another point. How did you get these children? I mean, it's implied that she's mourning for Vision and she wants a children, but you never really get to understand why. But Vision is a robot. How in God's name the two of you all make children? That doesn't really make any kind of sense. Anyway, so Scarlet Witch, as she's calling herself, goes for America Chavez, who is with Strange and Wong. Actually, I must say I really did like Wong in this movie. I liked him in all the others. I find Wong is a very interesting character. He's fun, he's a thing, so I really do like him in this movie also, right? And Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme at the moment, so that's right. So they take her to Kamatage and they are protecting her there, and Wanda shows up and literally very easily starts murdering hundreds of people to get to this chair. Literally murdering hundreds of people to get to this chair. And then this is when the weird demonic kind of satanic shit crawls into this movie. I mean, at one point, Wanda crawls out of a reflective surface exactly like that girl from The Ring when she crawled out of the TV. Just like that. Was very creepy, whole bent up body thing and all sort of stuff. I mean, it goes on to them and then Chavez and Dr. Strange end up traveling to another dimension, where they run into the other Sorcerer Supreme there, who is Mordo, right? Carl Mordo is there. And then we get introduced to the most waste of time, god-awful Illuminati I have ever seen. I mean, I was thinking, and this is just me, I was just thinking that, if you were going to put in some kind of Illuminati in this thing, it could have been that there are a kind of interdimensional Illuminati. They come from different dimensions, so you have different people come together and stuff. No, this Illuminati is only for this world, right? This I think is Earth 838 or something, so like that. So here's the Illuminati lineup. We have Captain Carter, the first Avenger. We have Black Bolt. Waste that time. We have Captain Atom. No, not Captain Atom. Hell I saying, boy. Captain Marvel. But it's Maria Rambeau, right? We have the smartest man in the world, Reed Richards. And we have Charles Xavier. All of these people are incredibly stupid. Right? I mean, incredibly stupid. The Captain Marvel makes this dotish statement that they could deal with your little witch when she shows up. Yeah, that didn't work out because Wanda then possesses herself in another in that universe and goes there and literally slaughters all of them. Captain Carter gets cut in half with her shield. Reed Richards was supposed to be so smart, literally tells her that Black Bolt could destroy her with a mere whisper, so she removes his mouth. When he tries to speak, blows out the back of his head. She then peels Reed Richards apart before blowing up his head. Good old Captain Marvel thought shooting some energy blast would work until she gets thrown into a wall and has a statue dropped on her, crushing her. Now, I will say this. I was really happy to see Patrick Stewart come back as Charles Xavier. It was really nice, although you never hear them refer to him as a mutant, but anyway, he came back as Charles Xavier. The yellow hover chair thing didn't work though. It didn't look realistic enough. It didn't work, but it was really good seeing him come back. And the thing is, I saw glimpses of in his character there as Charles Xavier. I saw glimpses of actual Jean-Luc Picard more than I've seen in the Picard series, right? He was there and then decides that he's going to go into to Scarlet Witch mine and try and free the other Scarlet Witch. And then subsequently she breaks his neck inside her mine, killing him instantly. So again, the entire Illuminati was a complete waste of flicking time. The movie then goes on, again, we'll come back to the satanic thing about it. Possessed Wanda is running after them, with this, the classic look, blood on her face, and they always running with this kind of limp run, like something wrong with their legs, so they're running with this limp, but somehow always able to catch up to the people who are clearly running fast in front of them, but she's running with this limp and catching up to them. And the movie continues on with the normal thing. They're looking for this book called the Book of Vishanti that should be able to stop her, even though Scarlet Witch is using some book called the Dark Hold, right? Which apparently there are many of, but there's only one of the Book of Vishanti. When they do get to the Book of Vishanti, she destroys it, kidnaps America Chavez and whatnot. Then they have this part where Stephen Strange has to go meet this other version of himself, other evil version of himself, who destroyed his universe with some sort of, he used the Dark Hold and do it, and he had some third eye on his head or something like that, and they had a little musical fight, I guess you could call it. But it wasn't too bad, it wasn't too great, but it wasn't too bad. Now the whole thing about this movie is that it feels more like a follow-up from WandaVision than anything else. Wanda is portrayed as this ultimate evil that nobody or nothing could stop. I mean, it kind of makes me wonder why she didn't just unleash all of that on Thanos to begin with, because clearly she seems pretty much capable of doing anything. Nobody seems capable of stopping her whatsoever. So then, the whole bottom line of it is the whole way it ends. I mean, even when Strange has to dream walk and possess the body of one of his other counterparts that died, and he had like this zombie looking thing. It's just very disturbing. But anyway, the whole thing about it is that America Chavez opens up a dimensional rift into the same universe where she had possessed her other self who had children there. And the children are terrified of her and screaming at her and she shouts at them to be quiet and then tells them that, she wouldn't hurt them, she would never hurt anybody. I mean, bitch, you have murdered hundreds of people by this point in the movie. You literally murdered hundreds of people to get your imaginary children when you could have simply just, I don't know, tried in vitro fertilization or something, because we never understand how these children exist in the first place. Who are these children's father? Because unless you're trying to tell me you found a way to get pregnant with a robot, then something's wrong there. I don't understand how these children exist, but they do, and the movie seems to be trying to do this whole thing to justify what she's done, or trying to make you feel sympathy towards the villain. I mean, it's like exactly like in WandaVision, when she had held the tongue hostage, and this government official guy came there, and they were pointing all these weapons at her, and he told her that the reason you're doing it because you've held this tongue hostage, and she's about how you're the one with guns. Of course they're the one with guns. You were holding a tongue hostage. They do the same thing in this movie, where even though she's murdered hundreds of people, used unholy magic, and then literally possessed a woman and behave like some kind of cryptic demonic thing, she's all there telling Strange that what he gave Thanos the time stone, so that's exactly like what she's doing because she's doing what she has to. He gave Thanos the time stone because it was the only way to stop him. You're murdering people to get your imaginary children, and it makes no sense. I mean, what exactly do you think you're gonna do? Turn off this evil when you reach that certain point? If these children piss you off, you might just snap them out of existence and then go looking for others. Come on. So when she's confronted with what she's done, that's when she decides to stop, and she brings down this temple thing that she was in all around her and destroys all the other Darkhold books, even though we never get an explanation as to how she's able to do that. You understand me? Now, you would think that she's probably dead, but even though Kevin Feige has said that she will be back, I expect that, next time you see her, she's going to be this normal repentive thing. I did a horrible thing. I've done away with magic. I don't want that kind of life anymore. The old thing, eventually have to drag her back in. So, movie pretty much goes the way you would expect. But the thing about it is, let me say, the visuals are great, again, as I say, excellent as always. Doctor Strange, really good. Well, Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch are old pros at this point, so they know how to do what they have to do. They did their acting really well. Wong was really interesting, as always. As for America Chavez, again, as I say, not much of a presence in this movie. Just there, really, because, had to be. But, again, as I said, I didn't really hate the character. I just didn't really find much reason to really be interested in it. Apart from that, the plot doesn't make much sense. If you look at this movie and you don't think about the plot, fine. If you think about the plot, you're going to be wondering what the hell just happened. That's really the way it goes. You kind of have to turn your brain off in order to not really get it. So that was what really going on about this movie. Now, at the end of it all, right? The end of this all, when they're doing the whole, after credit scene and whatnot and the other, who shows up at the end? Clea. And for those of you who may not know, well, most people know about it. Clea is Doctor Strange's ex-wife, but they haven't met yet in the MCU, right? So, but in the comics right now, they killed Doctor Strange, and Clea is the new Sorcerer Supreme. In fact, she has to remind people of every chance she gets. So she shows up at the end and tells Doctor Strange that there's that he caused some kind of incursion and that he has to help her fix it. So he follows her there. But I thought they could have brought her in a different way. It could have been more like you had her fighting something somewhere, and then suddenly he shows up and does something amazing, and then that's when it will really introduce the character better and whatnot. But they didn't at all. So that what they do, this movie is really kind of, you see the same thing that happened with Doctor Strange in the last Spider-Man movie, where he's making these decisions because he figure, this is what it is and that's what's going on. It's different from what you saw Doctor Strange before, because before he was wiser, even though he was a little more ignorant of magic and things, he was wiser and he was making more decisions based on actual things. Now he seems to be making decisions figuring that, it's the only way things has to happen, but he doesn't, and that's really what goes on. Overall, I will say this movie, again, it's a visually stunning movie. Some of the acting is really good. A lot of it doesn't make too much sense. Way too much satanicness in it for my liking. But it is what it's supposed to be, and it does deliver in that manner. My final rating on this movie, I will say 3.3 out of 5. Again, good. Again, visually stunning. Acting is pretty decent. Yes, I do not think about it too much. That's really the only thing to get with it. And see, maybe in the next movie we may get something different, but it seems to me like Marvel is looking to set up for the MCU. So we're gonna see what happens with that then. Anyway, that's it for me right now. Let me know in the comments what you think about this movie. If you want to go and if you've seen it already and you have a different opinion, let me know. If you want to go and see it, let me know also. Okay, so until next time, take care.